Hello and welcome everyone. I'm here with Genny Giraldo Real, and this is start of my new YouTube channel, and this is focusing on goal setting. And this is really going to be a preview of a paid program that I'm going to have where I'm going to be life coaching people as far as goal setting. So this is going to be a 3-part series with Genny Giraldo Real and some other people. And in the 3-part interviews, they all have to do with goal setting. First interview, which we're doing today, is going through the goals of 2021. So questions having to do with the goals and dreams and what you want from the new year. Then a second interview will be at the halfway point of the year in June, where we're going to check up on the progress and even restructure the plans and techniques, see what's working as far as the techniques and what you're trying to achieve and what's not working. So an analogy is like in sports, there's halftime. So with this goal setting, the first interview, you come up with your plans to achieve the goals. And it's just like in a sport, you come up with the game plan. This is how we're going to defeat the other team. Then at halftime, we will reassess what's working and not working as far as the goals, just like you do in sports. You had that game plan to win the game, and now you sometimes have to make halftime adjustments. And we do have to make adjustments in life too, because things don't always go according to plan. And those who are willing to adjust and are able to do whatever it takes, maybe learn some new knowledge, take a course, whatever to get us out of getting stuck as we're trying to achieve our goals. Then at the end, we will have a final interview where we assess what worked, what didn't work, and the lessons we learned. So then when we get into 2022, we can truly get to the next level and learn from some of our mistakes and be willing to make mistakes. And it's going out there and making the moves and not being afraid of making mistakes. That's a real key thing. So at this time, could you give me a brief introduction as far as who you are, what you do,
Yes. So
and
hi.
2021?
Yes. So hi everyone. My name is Genny Giraldo, and I have been different things. To be honest, I started as a fashion designer. Worked for 10 years like that, and then I study psychotherapy. I don't know it's the right name in English. And then traveled different countries, live in Africa. In the meantime, I started to write a book about my life. It's a kind of mix of biography and about family patterns. And then I wanted to also become an entrepreneur, and I started a cake bakery business that I did for 12 years. And I think 2 months ago, I just officially stopped it because now I'm doing totally something different. And yeah, so that's why I'm doing. And I think it will become clear while we're doing this interview, so that I don't want to tell so much about it now. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you because they're very detailed questions and it'll definitely cover it. Thank you for the introduction. So as we can see, you're going into a new chapter now
Yes,
and new
exactly.
endeavors.
Yeah.
What are your goals for 2021?
My goals for 2021, the first thing is to be happy. So I think that's one of the big goals that everyone has to put on the list before writing something else, because that's the most important thing. When you are happy, then you can achieve more. You can work on your totally goals. And for each person, it's different. But then beside that, that's a big one because it concerns about your healthy, your relationships, and your work. But beside that, I'm working now. I start a post-degree study in autism in October this year, and it will be finished by June, the end of June. So my goal is to be ready in this post-degree. It's a hard work, and that's one of the, beside being happy, my second biggest goal. Yeah.
And what's your inspiration for studying autism and going for an autism degree?
Well, it's a very long story, but I try to put it in a few sentences. I have been married for 21 years with my husband. It's excellent, the best man I think I ever met. And we have been happy, 3 children, but since I think 10 years or 7 years, it started to be, I find his behavior a little different. And in the beginning, there were signs, but I was not so very sure about it. So it became more and more complicated. And 2 years ago, he became sick and very, really, how do you say, delicate. And then I didn't have the opportunity to communicate with him. It was so difficult. So I say, where is my husband? Where is the man I met? Because it was like he was gone, totally gone at once. So I went with my background as in psychology. I just went and read and start to look and start to search. And then I find something about autism, and that's how I became to know. But in the beginning, it was difficult because everybody, like the family and everybody, was having a lot of resistance with that. So, yeah.
You have some other goals for 2021?
Um, I think I didn't answer your question very well because I just told about my husband. But then that's why I found it so, according to your question before, uh, so interesting to know more about autism. So that's why that's the interest where I come from. And excuse me, repeat me your question.
Oh, the question was your goals for 2021.
More goals, you mean? Yeah.
If you have a
Uh, sorry.
oh, if you have other if you
Other
have other
goals.
goals.
Yeah. Yes, I have the goal to, so you hear, I used to have a bakery. So we have this place. Um, we own this place. So because I stopped with the bakery, my goal is to create a space, like a coaching space, to help spouses of people who are married with men or spouses who have autism. So that's one of my goals, to create this space. And I definitely want to create a co-working space because this building is quite big. So maybe I can uh, co-create something with somebody that also is in the same field, or maybe one osteopath or one clinic. So that's my goal.
Oh,
also.
so it would be like team coaching with somebody else.
Not with somebody else, but it's just the building is big enough to have two practices. So my practice and somebody, but it will
Oh, okay.
it will be awesome if I can work also with somebody. So that's an open field there.
Oh, so there'd be somebody else that would be renting the space and having their own practice.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. That sounds really awesome. I do have a friend that he's trying to buy a house right now, but later on he wanted to get like an office space, and then we would be using it for different things. And one of
Yeah.
the and one of the things he was suggesting is when I do interviews and they're in person, I could do interviews there and also have people, come and use it to rent it and that sort of thing. So
Yes. Yeah.
I can see that your goals, this is your mission now, is helping others with autism.
Yes.
And I think it's really awesome because, hey, you definitely have a reason, and you also, started doing the research to help your husband first and now to help others, and also other wives and people that they're dating, so they can not feel alone and there is a place to go.
Well, you say it right, but I have to clarify something.
Okay.
When you say I will help people with items, I will help them, but indirectly, because the most passion that I feel about it is to help spouses who are married with people who have autism, because in this field there is that's why I became so passionate about it, because in the time for during 2 years that I was looking for help to talk to somebody who can give me a reach out, I couldn't. There was nobody. There. I know a lot different good psychologists, and when they are not in this field, when they didn't have a background in autism, they cannot help you, because this is totally different field. So yeah, I will. When you say, yeah, I wanted to help my husband, yeah, but the most important thing that I have to say also, I wanted to help myself, because it was so difficult in this time. So it's like, yes, I wanted to help my husband, but also I wanted to help myself. And yes, I will definitely help these people without this, because sometimes they are unhappy in this relationship, because their spouses, they don't understand what is going on. Yeah.
No, that's gonna be really good. And when you're reaching out to, other women and that sort of thing, that's gonna be really awesome. And this could really start a movement, because a lot of great movements and changes are just one person. And then this could spread and become something really, really good that will reach many people, and maybe first, locally, and maybe eventually can spread this into other countries and be a spokesperson for this
Yes, I hope so.
and bring the attention out and people to say, hey, I can go somewhere. I'm not alone. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I have different goals with it, and but I have learned also, when you have ideas, you have to keep it for yourself sometimes, and you just have to do it and just write your points and just, work on it. And then, yeah. So there are different ways that I want to make it work. Yeah.
I like what you said. You have to do it, because if we're waiting for the people we know to all be in agreement before we do something, we're not going to do anything.
No, no.
It's so true. That is so true.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before I ask the next question?
It's okay. I'm
Okay.
ready for the next one.
What are your plans to achieve your goals or the steps? What are your plans?
Well, I think I started to talk about it. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm very grateful that what people may say is maybe mistakes or fails, that I don't see it like that in my old projects that I have been doing. Um, because before, I think 1.5 years ago, I started something. I wanted to build a business online, and I went and I make a course and everything. It was, for one side part, it was very disappointed, but I have learned a lot of it, even for the disappointed side of it. And but I have also learned a lot of tools and techniques. So how I'm going to work on my goals. One of the things is that I want to be visible on social media, and I will start a YouTube channel by the time that I and then I will just start to talk about my experience, about my experience as wife of married with an artist, and I will also share some like tools what to do. So in this way, I'm not so desperate, like, okay, I have to do that and I have in 5 months or 3 months. No, I will do it very spontaneous. Yeah. Very, yeah, in very disciplined. I don't say that I will do 1 month and two. No, because this is what I have learned. If you want to do something, you have to have the discipline, you have to have the commitment to do that. And for me, this is very serious because it's about people. And to commit with this audience, you have to be there also to create credibility, to be for them also for yourself. So this is one way that I will use the social media to reach out, to be visible. And behind these scenes, I have to choose which kind of social media. Will I do it just on Facebook, or will I just do it on YouTube? So that's what I'm uh, um, working out. Yeah.
Okay, which platforms would be the most effective for your message?
Which platforms? Yes. Because now these days you see Instagram, it's also a very strong platform that all also will be um, useful for me, for myself, to reach out.
Yeah, I've noticed myself that when I do make YouTube videos and talk about certain topics, it helps me get clarity on the topics too.
Yeah.
It's almost like a video journal of my thoughts through time. And I think it'll be very powerful that maybe 3 or 4 years late from now, if I look back and see how I was thinking back then
Yes.
and
This
how
is
I through
yeah.
experiences, I think it's very powerful.
Yeah,
And
because it shows you a side of your growth, because nothing stays the same. And by doing,
exactly.
you start to grow, you start to experience, you start to explore, you start to feel what works for you or what doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how your YouTube channel, I can tell already, is going to be, it has a direction, it has a purpose, and you have your topic narrowed down to,
Yes.
know exactly what it is, and that's really awesome.
Yeah,
I've
that's very
totally
important. Yeah.
got in there myself, But originally my YouTube channel, okay, it was self-development, but now through doing different stuff, I narrowed down what really gets me excited, and that's
Yeah.
goals, and that's what I'm focusing on now myself. So that's
It
really
works both the way. I think, like I used to say, it's never failing because when you try something out, it brings you one thing, like you always say, one thing leads you to another thing, and that's terrific. But sometimes you are closer to that, and then if you have, like you say, you narrow your topic and then you know where to go, then it's very nice. But even that, you have to always to be flexible, and you have to always to be open for new ideas, because you never knows what comes into your path.
that's so true. I like that point. Like with goal setting, if I'm too rigid on it has to be this way and I planned it this way, and then an opportunity comes, I'm like, no, no, this is going off my structure. Yeah, exactly. You have to be able to, yeah, because sometimes things will come up and opportunities just from all the actions that you've made, of the people you met, and that's what happens.
Yes.
You get friendships and that sort of thing from, you're going out and then you meet like-minded people,
Yes,
and
and
that's a
that's
and that's a bonus. First you're like, oh, I'm trying to do this and that, but then you the relationships and the people you meet and that sort of thing, and they could even be lifetime friends, and that's a really nice benefit that you weren't initially trying to seek. It just happened
it
naturally.
happens, yeah,
Yeah, naturally.
because you are open to this field that you can become. But also you have to be careful because it works both way. Everything works way. You have to be careful who are your friends, because that tells a lot of who you really also are and what kind of things are dominant in your life. So it always works both. But when you are in a way of grow in your path and you walk like that, then you know everything unfolds so nicely. Yeah, even the things that you find so difficult sometimes, the challenge, even that. Yeah.
From your goals, which one of your goals do you believe will be the hardest or most challenging to achieve?
That's a good one. To That's a very profound one. I believe the the one the how do you say that? Um, it's hard because I I went back to school, as you can say. I am doing now a post degree, so it's like going back to school in being an adult, and it's a lot of stuff I have to read and investigate and work on. So this is one very challenge one, because I need to be very disciplined here, use discipline, and this is challenge for me. And but I know if I don't do that, I know the consequence. So it this is really one tough. Yeah.
It's definitely like another chapter, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And then, you'll develop your focus.
Yeah.
For me, for me personally, when I was in school, if I was doing my work and studying, if I stayed in the same room too long, I would lose focus. So every hour I have to change rooms. So that was, and I did have to have some distractions like the TV and stuff. So
Yeah.
everybody's a little different. And now, oh, the possibilities are so much more, because I'll see college students. I was going to Dog Beach, and this girl, she's doing her college work, and she has her 3 dogs on a blanket, her 3 chihuahuas. So now with Wi-Fi, yeah, there's just so many different places people can go, and yeah,
Yeah, and it's different because when you are married, you have three children that are teenage, and then there's a lot of things. You have a household, and there's a lot of things. You know, you work from home, especially now these days with
Oh yeah.
COVID-19. I cannot go to Holland to the high school. I just have to be online. So yeah, but thanks God, I'm very grateful that I have learned this also, how important it is in the like 2 years ago, I wanted to make my online business, and I have learned how important it is to be commitment, to be focused, to have a discipline, to work with your goals, to write it down, yeah, to make priorities. So I say it's very challenging for me because now I'm doing it. I have learned it, but now I'm practicing this. So yeah, yeah. So I and it worked out. It's working out. But I have to be like very focused. Okay, I know this is a very delicate topic for me, and one side, I'm very lucky that it's the COVID and we are in quarantine, that restaurants are not open.
Yep.
It helps me for one part. So we have always have to see the positive side of things. So I say, okay, thanks God, because when friends call, do you want to have lunch? And I have to learn. But now I'm just okay. But even that, you have a household, the kids, you have to pick up. You want to do groceries, so everything has to be planned because otherwise my schedule and my deadlines, yeah, I don't want to become before 1 week, and no, because this is very serious stuff. You are talking about our teams, you are talking about working with people, so you have to be very responsible and very professional. That means I have to uh, be very serious with this stuff that I'm learning. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you're wearing a lot of different hats. Yeah, that's the thing with this lockdown and the COVID is like I've gotten a lot more clarity of, what I want and, you know, a lot of times like my goals and what I'm going to be doing, I'll be driving. I mean, I know that I'm pursuing stuff that I truly do like and love because I'll just be walking down the street or it's always there to some extent in my head and I'm always like thinking of, oh, what's this? What could I say? Yeah, maybe it's just the name of a video. I go, oh, I could do a video on that. And sometimes something happens and I go, I'm glad that happened. What's the lesson from this? And that sort of thing.
Yeah, and do you have a notebook with you or
Um,
not?
sometimes there's my mind is always thinking of these things and this is a thing that's kind of interesting. I'll be reading a book about entrepreneurship or whatever and then all of a sudden my mind will go somewhere else and I'm writing topics for videos and all of a sudden they'll pop into my head. Sometimes it will be triggered by what I'm reading or all of a sudden it'll just hit my head and then I'll be circling them and then sometimes I'll go back in a book and just flip through and look at these things that I wrote and I'll go, oh, I guess I'll do one on that. So kind of like
Yeah,
that.
but sometimes I used to do something like that you say, with because my mind I can handle a lot. But then I've learned to keep always one book note,
Okay.
and because I find out that it gives me more peace and quietness. When I'm doing something, like you say, you are writing a topic for your videos, and then suddenly you have this idea, and then I write it down because this is a small book that I note I have upstairs now, and then I put it, close it, but I know it will be there. It will not go. So I get more focus on what I'm doing at that moment,
It's all
and
in
it
one
helps
place.
me. Yes,
All in
it
one
helps
place.
me.
Yeah, there's a famous comedian, Jerry Seinfeld. What he would do and Larry David, they would have like a little book or whatever. And what would happen is they would see stuff in real life and then they would go, oh, that was kind of funny, and just take a note of it. And then
Yes.
eventually, then they had little ideas, and they some of those they expanded into a whole episode of Seinfeld
Yeah.
on
That's
just yeah, one little idea, but they had it all together, like you were suggesting.
yeah, that helps a lot.
Well, and then, what new skills will you have to learn to achieve your goals? What new skills or things do you have to learn that will help you achieve your goals?
um, I have to learn, like from inside out, what autism really is about, so I can understand when I'm working with people. And this is a very deep and breath. It's not just, I was amazed. I was like, whoa, and at the same time, I was like, when you have this virus for learn something, that's very a good positive thing of myself, that when I am very interested in something, it's like hungry. I want more and more and more. So I have to learn different techniques. I have to learn different vocabulary. Yeah. And I have to learn methods that will help me to work, and that will help me to find out, or to investigate why somebody, because with autism you cannot say it's autism and it's in the box. It depends about the person. It depends what qualities they have got. It depends what talents. So I have to learn a lot of, how do you say, tools and techniques. You can call techniques, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, yeah,
And I think what I'm seeing is not more broad, not just tools and techniques for different scenarios, because
yes,
the autism spectrum is so big. So this gonna on this part of the spectrum and this part and this part, there's gonna be different tools and techniques that will be
yes.
catered towards different cases. And there'll be some similarities in cases, and of course we're all individuals too, so there's many different factors.
And I have experience that I'm study with 21 adults, but there are just me and one lady who comes from the bank business, and the rest is always have been always in the field of autism or work with people. And then I was like, wow, I don't have a background. So sometimes when we are making cases or working on a case, they talk very easily, very spontaneous about what they know. And then I was like, oh my God, I have still to work. And this, when you say what kind of things or you have to learn new skills, yeah, I'm reading a lot. Every time, I have my books every time near, so I can grab one and then I start to read, make notes. Yeah.
Exactly. And then of course the notes are catered towards your mission and what you're going to achieve.
Yeah.
What obstacles could stand in your way of accomplishing your goals? What obstacles could stand in your way?
Um, I will be very honest, and I think one of the obstacles that will stand on my way is the insecurity, my own insecurity. Maybe um, thinking, like I say, there are students who have a background in autism. Maybe that I see that, so I have to be more. I'm confident, but it's totally new for me. Yeah, in a kind of way. So I think mm, sometimes maybe the insecurity that I don't know enough. If I have to dive more in the stuff, something like that. Yeah, and I say that because sometimes there is this old belief that I used to have always, like I am not enough, I don't know a lot, I'm not intelligent. So that's why I'm mentioning this, because it's one stuff that maybe will come back. If you ask me what kind of stuff maybe will come back, because in a new field it will be challenge for me to say, okay, yeah.
I think over time, as you learn more, and even after you establish your practice, you'll continue to learn stuff, and
Yes,
there
definitely.
will definitely be some new research and some new ideas
Yeah, I think it's
that
a
will be
field
coming
that
out.
it's not. It's a field that it's not yet. It's still something to explore more.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not closed. We're not
No.
like, oh, we know what there needs to be known. No, it's not a closed door. It's not closed.
No.
Definitely not.
It's definitely different than 30 years ago. Yeah, there have been a lot of research and a lot of exploration, and thanks God, that's great. But there is so much more to learn and to explore. Yeah.
Exactly. Is there anyone who could help you with your goals or
I'm
assist?
sorry?
Is there anyone that you could that could help you with your goals or assist you in your goals, or you
Yeah.
could seek out counsel maybe?
Oh, there is definitely there is something that could help me, but it makes it more difficult now with this COVID and this quarantine, because we have how do you say oh, this word in English? Not a club, but vereniging. Oh my God, it's association. Yeah,
Associate.
in yes, in Gant. It's not far from here. It's 30 minutes by car, and um, sometimes you can do you can be volunteer to work with people with autism, to help in some kind of way, to give talks. And I wanted to do that before I start to study, because I say, oh, it will help me, to talk with people, to know more about it. But because of the quarantine, I cannot do that. And all their activities are online. And online is not the same, because you have webinars, yeah, and you cannot interact a lot with the people. So it will something that will had help me is that. So now what I'm doing is I'm reading more, and I'm looking on Google, and have found one doctor in Canada who works with autism and relationships. So I follow her and I learn a lot. And sometimes I have asked one question by mail. So, and I'm expecting that she will give answer. So sometimes some things like that. If you say who could help you, these people, and also the neurolog where my husband goes once in the month. He has these talks with him, with the neurologist. You say in English,
Neurologist. Yes, neurologist.
neurologist, yeah. And I definitely know if I will need some help or some kind of, you know, support, I can reach out to him.
Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe hopefully things when things open up, the economy and things, and you can go out in person, you can make, more of these connections. I do remember you saying towards the beginning of this question, you talked about giving talks. So you wanted to like give speeches about, your topic.
Yes, I wanted to give talks about how it is as a woman married with one uh, person with Asperger. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about my experience and something like that, because they are looking, they're normally when there is not a COVID-19, they were looking for people and they will be trained, So I say, oh, this is an opportunity for me to learn more, and to be active in this field. So, but I know it will be come back, yeah, and yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking when you give the talks, it'll even help you practice, you saying your message.
yes,
And then I was also thinking when you said that, when you first mentioned it, I was also thinking that it would be even more beneficial if you could get in a situation where at the end of your talk, if it's 15 minutes or what it
mhm,
is, that at the end, if there's a Q&A, and that will really help reach out to people that are like other women who are married to somebody that's autistic, and the Q&A, and that would be really a good experience too.
yeah. I
And then
think it's very very neat. It's very important to do that because that's one of my goals. Also, if you're talking about goals, that I will do on YouTube, but because there is like a taboo, still very taboo about autism. People are afraid to talk because they think maybe if they find out that I'm autist, I am an Asperger. I do have Asperger, that people will be not benefit in their work, or and there are also wives who maybe are ashamed, they don't know. So it's very important to talk about, to break it open, because I don't know, I have.
get the courage.
Yes,
And I'm thinking in the Q&A, when you give speeches, and if there's a Q&A, after a while, that will help you narrow down or get clarity. What are the top concerns that people have?
yes,
Because
yeah,
after a while, there might be some questions that are a little different, but after a while, you'll get to see what are the top concerns. And then this, I believe, will help you strengthen your practice and be able to hit the things, the 5 or 7 or whatever the number is of the main points, and
yeah, the
be able to
definitely.
get those addressed. So I think that will really hone in on your practice and see what the effectiveness will be based on the questions that just seem like they just keep on coming up.
Yes, and this is how I also see it, to because you need to build trust also and confidence in it. In this field, people are not so uh, very free to talk or to ask. So you have to build this trust and confidence to people, and you have to do it with respect, because we are talking about persons, and so you have to be very delicate and bring it up with respect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's their lives, they're living it.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a real good point. What would it be like if you accomplish your goals? What would it be like, or how would you feel? It, kind of both of those things.
Well, maybe we can start with how do will I feel. I think I will feel very proud. Like now, I'm very proud because finding out with all this resistance that I got from my environment about finding out my husband was of is has got autism, and going through this wall of resistance, it was terrible, terrible. But I felt very, and I feel very proud that I really trust in my guts, how they say, and I just went through like a bull, and I'm telling it now very funny and laughing, but it was not so funny. It was very hard. It made me, it builds me up to say that. Yeah. Um, so I believe I will be very, very proud, and also very proud because I I practice more my discipline, my commitment. So it will make me very happy also. Um, and then the second part of the question was,
Oh, let me see. Be like, make you. How would you feel? Feel.
well, Phil, and what will be change? You say, I think, no, just Phil, yeah.
No, I didn't say change.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Oh, no
So
problem.
it will be. I will be very, very, very joyful, yeah, to accomplish that. Yeah.
Yes, sometimes maybe when things get hard, sometimes maybe it's good for us to kind of try to get that feeling of what it'll feel like, what you would say and that sort of thing, to keep us going because we all will have some hard times. And I think one of the best things I've gotten out of reading books about entrepreneurs is people are just like, oh, it just came easy. Oh, he was a natural or she was a natural.
Mhm.
But you read those books, you will see those struggles, and then you can sympathize with it, and you're going, hey, I'm going, if I stick through, at some point I'll get that momentum. But at the beginning, there's a lot of resistance, and we have to go make some changes and be willing to change too.
Yeah, you have to, like what I was saying, like when I went through this wall of resistance, that's something that I have also learned from my years of study and trying things out, that you always will have resistance in very different ways. And it's maybe your family, it's maybe your environment, maybe people would say you're crazy, you don't see it. And many times we listen to that, and then we just become very insecure and we thought very self-doubt. But really, to be honest, this is something that builds me. That's why I say builds me up, because I went to the resistance, and this is one of the things that I that I know, and that gives me a lot of energy to continue on. And when I think, it fills me up with a lot of energy. Is that knowing that, because this is one of the things that really made me very sentimental, because I am in love with my family, I am in love with my marriage, with my children, my husband, and it was it was falling apart, and I couldn't know where, you know. So I can imagine a lot of women of men who are married and still love and see the special person in front of them, but this life is falling apart because nobody knows and reach out and don't understand. So this is one of the things that really give me a lot of energy to to go through, and to say, yeah, I know what I'm doing, because it's helping me to discover more about my husband and my marriage. And it's really turning my marriage, like, I cannot say like before, but to be honest, like better than it. And it's and this is something that I wish to give it, of not to give it because I cannot give it, but to be there for the persons who can use it, the tools, with my experience. So
Exactly. That's
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome how it's benefited you in so many ways. That's great.
Yeah.
How are your goals in alignment with your values? So, how are your goals connected to your values?
Well, I think I just say it,
Yes,
something like that. Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, because this is so important for me. I believe in relationships. I come from a background that if you see my life, my past, my life, my childhood, I didn't have a very good example, and I think this what I was very. I like to observe. I liked to observe when I was child, and I always say to myself, I will do it differently, you know. And when I wanted children, to be honest, I didn't want children because I say, I want children. I want to be in a, I want to give this warm, environment and this healthy environment to my kids. So this is very important for me. And so I believe in relationships because I didn't have a good example, but I make it, and I'm still here, and I'm feel very happy with my relationship, my marriage. And I believe there is a lot of people also who love, and everybody of us want to be happy. And relationships is one important aspect of life. And that's why I think this is so important for me. And this is disconnect with my values, you know, what I'm doing now. And you say it's like your mission. Somebody say it to me, oh my God, you have tried a lot of things. Somebody who knows me say, do you have tried a lot of things? Now you are working on your mission on art. And I was like, okay, well, I see it different because I think my life as a mother is also a mission. My life as a partner of my husband is also a mission. So it depends how you see it. Because a
Exactly.
mission is something that you take it for very serious in your life and very respectful. So maybe we have a lot of different missions here in life. But this feel, if we are talking like that, this feel like a mission now. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe a mission is a place, is something that we just freely and really want to put our energy towards. And it's like, this is where I want to put my energy.
Yes.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Which of your goals is the most important for you to accomplish? The personally, it's the most important. Like, at the end of the year, it's like, this is what really what the really what I really would love to happen or accomplish.
For
Which,
next year, you mean 21?
yes.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I think I will be, so like I said, I will be finished by at the end of June. So at the end of the year, that will be my goal to make this space in a co-working space with somebody else, but definitely to be there at my space. Yeah. Working
Oh,
with
okay.
people.
And
Yeah.
starting your practice, it's like, hey,
Yes.
I I am doing it. I am living it. I am
Yes.
here, and I am where I want to be, like that.
Yes.
Okay, I've arrived. No. Will your goals benefit others? Oh, I definitely will say they will benefit others.
Well, for start, they will be
Yes,
benefiting
definitely.
me and my marriage, my relationship. I mean, yeah, my marriage. And I really, yeah, wish that they will be benefiting others. Yeah.
Exactly. Of people who uh, are in the same similar situation where they're married to somebody that's autistic.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to achieve your goals?
That's a tough question to think about it. I, I, to be honest, I think the time, but like I am now blessed with this COVID-19 because it's quarantine, so I'm not sacrificing nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
Bec-
it is completely different. Yeah.
yes.
If I asked this question last year, it would have been totally different.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Oh,
And then because like I say, like imagine in February, March, it will be nice weather, then people wants to go out, you
that's
know. It's not really going to be like that. And now also there are no shops open, there is not like Christmas affairs or Christmas market. So I'm just home enjoying, and I was, what a wonderful time to start my study. So
exactly,
if you
exactly.
say what am I no, I am not feeling like I'm sacrificing something, but also not money, because maybe if you have asked this question last year, because it's expensive education, we have to pay, but it's no, even that, because we're not going to holidays, we're not going to so
Yeah, there's
yeah,
all these little things that we don't realize we're saving money. I mean, for example, where I work, it's online right now, and I put in $20 of gas, and it just lasts so long. And now I have I'm just doing little local driving, and now when I drive 15 minutes away, I feel like I drove far. I'm like, whoa.
yeah,
And then I haven't been on the freeway in so long. I was like kidding myself. I said, I hope I remember how to drive on the freeway.
yeah. But if you have asked me these questions 3 months ago, I definitely will
What
ask
would have been
say you,
different?
maybe that's a good question to answer, because um, before I started, I wanted to organize my home. And it was, I think, from last year that I wanted to organize. And I felt like, oh, I need to organize this. And I went to my, I focused on it. I say to myself, I give myself 2 months to organize my home totally. And I went through really before my study started. And I invest even money, because there were two people helping me. And I invest time every day organizing, throwing things, ordener. And I think that was a sacrifice that I wanted to do, because I say if I start with this study, I want my home to be very organized, very easy, because if I'm going, I was supposed to go to Holland. So my kids will be very, organized also, and will be easy for me. So that's something that I think you can call it like a sacrifice, but it was before I went to start this study.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going through that process right now. And
Organizing?
yeah,
Yeah,
and there's stuff that, there's stuff that I have, and I'm like, I haven't used this in years. Why do you have this?
yeah.
And and without hesitation,
And
and
are you doing by your own, or are you using some method? Like I use the method of Marie Kondo, and I also use a method of two girls who are in Netflix, and I combine these two,
oh, okay.
and it works very good. Yeah,
I read the book, the KonMari method.
yeah.
Yeah, I read that. So yeah, she said, if it doesn't make your heart sing, or if it doesn't, then just, yeah, exactly.
And
So
it really works like that,
make
because
you
it
feel
was
better.
hard for me. Yeah, it was hard for me to say, oh, but that's good, that's good. And I started to do that even with like cups, that you drink, cups of coffee. Then I say, okay, I put it out and I sit and I took the time, and it works. It works. And now every place where you come in my house is very organized, even the books and everything sprinkle joy. And in the beginning, when I was reading that book, I was like, oh, what a cliche, you know. But really, it works like that. And I am in love with my house. I like every place where I go. And when I open one drawer, and then you see everything saying, hello, are you going to use me today? No, it's really.
It's your friends. It's your friends
Yeah,
in the drawer. That's
yes.
cool. I
I
like
have a
that.
lot of friends in COVID now.
Let's see, 1 second. Okay. Are your goals measurable? How do you know when you will achieve them?
Yes, they are measurable. And that's so important to do that, because sometimes I used to do it in the past when I just wanted to reach something, you know, and but like mm, I if I'm following my structure, yeah, and my schedule, then I definitely will reach my deadlines and I will reach my goal of the study. And also um, with my local, I was 2 weeks ago. I was by um, to the kine. You say in English kine osteopath? No,
Say it again.
um, the kineologist. You say the kineologist?
Oh, yes, that has to do with movement.
Yes. And I was there making some exercise, and then he asked me, so how are you doing with your study? Because he know it. And then I say, yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. And then he say, you know, maybe on January or February, you can write a letter to all the neurologists and say that you will start your own business like that. And I was like, oh, this is a great idea, you know? So yeah,
Oh, gave you
you have
inspiration to the whole idea.
yes. So you
Awesome.
have
That's
yeah.
so cool. And that's
So
why it's so important to get with the right people. They
yes, of
they will
course.
challenge us,
Yes.
or they'll open up some new possibilities. Or
Yeah.
sometimes you'll at the time you go, I don't think so. And then you'll stop and think, and now that thought's in your head and you go, oh, maybe they're right. And then
Yeah.
you go, okay, so now how would I do that? You know, and then you explore it more and then you can really
Yeah.
formulate the idea and then even go with it.
And then
Or
he also said,
one
yeah,
idea could trigger some other idea that's not exactly what they said, but it can trigger another idea or your own little
yeah,
spin on it.
exactly. Like when he said that, I say, oh, I can also write a letter to my daughter and doctor. And then he says, you know, I'm starting by this time of the year. So if you know some patients or people, you can send it to me. So it's, you know, it's how it works. So I think, yeah, I if I'm working like that, then definitely I will be my goals will be in June, the first part, and then at the end of the year, the second part. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then we're meeting again in June at the halfway point. So it looks like it'll be good
Yes.
timing. It'll be good timing.
Yeah.
What daily routines will you follow to achieve your goals? What will you do daily that will help you achieve your goals?
Well, meditating is one of the routines that I do because it clears my mind for everything. Yeah. And then I have my hours, yeah, that I put like to study or to read. Uh, so these are
That
the
you like
daily
block
routines.
out, like this is what I'm doing and this is what I do during these hours.
Yes, and also what one of the things that I have learned for myself is also to take good care of myself. So also I plan time to just rest. Yeah, so important also.
Do you take a nap, watch TV to rest, or what do you do during the rest times?
I sometimes it's different. One time I take a bath, yeah, and the other time I just lie here because this is a corner of the living room, and I lie here, and then I say to everybody, okay, it's my time to relax, and they know already, and they leave me just relax. And then maybe I listen to music because I like music. It gives me inspiration. And before we met, I was listening to Diana Rose.
Oh,
It's
okay.
my turn. And then I was singing, you know, and I'm coming out. And then sometimes when I sing that and before the mirror, then I say, yeah, I'm coming out. I'm going to talk. I'm going to do. Yeah.
Congratulations. There you go.
Yeah. And then I say to myself by this moment, maybe I have to record myself now to show the people how inspirational music can be when you are just taking a time for yourself. So I do a yeah, different routines. And then I do once, this is also what helps me. Once in a week, I meet one friend who is very rational and very intelligent, high intelligent. And I don't know, interacting with him helps me also to be grounded, you know. And I need that sometimes to make my brain working in
Oh,
some
get
kind of
clarity.
way.
I think you mean get clarity.
Yes,
To
yeah.
get clarity.
And also walking in the woods. Once in the 10 days, I meet my friend to walk in the woods or walk in the nature, not nature. So there are different things that I do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that that I've done the best is when I'm on a vacation, going for my morning walks, and yeah, that's it's it's really cool, and it just gets you in a peaceful place before you start your work. And I like,
yes,
and I like how, most people just go daily routines and it's like this like rigid little thing. But I like how you put in time for yourself too, outside of I'm just doing the work all the time and that sort of thing. So
it's so important, and this is one of the things that I have learned, especially if your partner is the one who has autism. You have to disconnect. You have to disconnect from your family, from your partner,
oh, okay.
because it's
One
so
of the key
important.
things,
Yeah,
very critical. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Did you write down your goals?
I did. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
write my goals. Yes,
Did you post them? And it's like
yes. I have it in. I write it in upstairs in my study room. I have one big whiteboard, and
oh, okay.
I print out my deadlines for the study. I print it out with the dates and with red. And next, I put also my stuff. Yeah, and I have also, since I think 1 month, I bought one very big calendar to write with different colors that I'm teaching my children. So because I found it very important, when you do something, I never learned it from home, from my childhood, but I know how important it is to learn the children, also the clarity, how to write your goals, how to know what's important, with different colors, like when they have tests at school, they write it with red, yeah. When they have to do finish something, they write it with green. So I do that also. I have learned it, yeah.
Okay.
And I have tried many things, to be honest, during the past years. but nothing work like what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is really to be visible. For me, the most important is when I go to the study, I have to see it, because
Okay.
then they're talking to me and you have to finish that, red lines, deadlines, red, so that you can see. Yeah, it's very
I,
important for me.
I think it's good too. The color coding, I haven't heard of that before. But the thing that I like is you can personalize the colors for whatever you're focusing on.
Yeah,
And exactly. And and I like hearing about the whiteboard because I've seen on YouTube. I go, that's good. And how many times am I going to say that's good until I just do it? Because we
yeah.
can keep on seeing something or hearing something, go, oh, that sounds great, and then we're not doing it.
But
So
but I
the
because I
action
am
of the white.
somebody who is very, I need to, I'm very visual, so I need to see things to remember every time. Because if I write it down like before in an agenda, like you say we all do, somehow I don't open it, but
Yeah,
I need to see. So because sometimes we have to find out what it works for us, because there are so many methodics, and there are so many different ways. But you have to find it for myself, and I thanks God I found it for myself. So I make in my study, and also behind the house where I go to wash laundry, I also make one, and also in the kitchen. So when I open my door, I always see it. And it's funny, I will show you it later, but I write it with, I bought some boards that I can write it, and we put it everybody's his name. And so the goals that are upstairs in my study room are for myself. Yeah. And then we have also goals for the children, but everybody has his own space.
Oh,
And
okay.
then in downstairs we have also one, our appointment, and also things from school. For me it's very important, because I used to just not be commitment with it before, and
Yeah,
it gives a lot of clarity, a lot of rest, a lot of confidence when you do that. And I think you know me before, I think you know me already for 1 year. And
yes.
it's different, it's more grounded now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. We don't learn in school how to set goals and goal setting, and this is not it's not talked about at all.
No.
Is all you get is this assignment is due on this date, and that's it. And that's the whole thing.
And I have two children, and two of them are very commitment, and they have a good discipline,
Okay, very focused. Very focused.
naturally. Yeah.
Oh,
But
without, yes.
yes, but the second one, he's dreaming. And so they told me at school, even I say to him, did you do your homework? Yes, I did. So by the first trimester it was zero, and I was like, what? So I went and I say he needs support. As parent, you cannot be angry at one child like that. You have to. And what this is one of the things that I learned also in autism. It's very nice. You cannot change behavior if you don't know where it comes from. So I went down and I say, what happened? Where does this behavior come from? So it doesn't, you cannot say, I will do a schedule for you and you have to do that. No, you have to see why he's not interested in that, in learning or something. And then we figure it out. And now I try, I think, 2 or 3 schedules for him. Nothing worked, but the last one did. And that was something like, it works also for me.
Yes.
So I don't know if I make a schedule that it will be easy for him to control. It will be easy because he has to learn by himself, you know. Now I'm supporting him, but the meaning of all the things is that you have to learn kids to be independent, to work on their own.
Exactly.
So it's nice to do that, because if you know my past and my life, who will say that I will do that with my kids? So it's great, and that's how you learn, and that's how you how do you say, evolve,
Yes.
and that's great to give it to your children and to
Exactly.
find out which kind of methodic work for them, you know.
And then, did you plan out your goals? I strongly believe you did,
Mm-hmm.
because you write them down. So I know that you're planning. So
Yeah,
the next
I,
question,
I
you definitely planned out your goals.
I have to. Otherwise, I will not be, how do you say,
Committed?
able to do that.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to, like I did with my son, you have to, like, if you need to read one book and you have a deadline, you have to, see in which week, how many things, how many time, you have to do that, because you cannot, how do you say, you if you don't do that, if I don't do that, I will not have a clarity in my, how do you say, in my head.
Exactly.
And there is also something that I learned is, when you have stress, you cannot learn, your brain cannot take more information, new information. So this is so important to for yourself to have this clarity and, how do you say, state of chill state, to take, to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've also noticed if I'm stressed or stuff on my mind, my creativity gone.
yeah,
You lose your creativity too.
yeah. You cannot learn with stress because you cannot be focused. Yeah, your brain is being stressed at that moment. Yeah.
Yes, this whole idea of what I'm doing here with the 3 interviews, obviously I didn't come up with that in a stressed state. It was the complete opposite. The whole idea came after I got done with a group meditation session. All of a sudden the idea hit my head. So that definitely was way on the other end of the spectrum. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the benefits of meditation is, yeah, it's like the career that I'm working to get out of. I got clarity. What was the one thing that my main reason for that? So I got clarity on that. What are the first steps for you to accomplish your goals? Your first few steps, which you've already started with, going to school and that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. So that definitely is definitely one of the first steps for sure.
Mm-hmm. The other step, like I say, accomplishment, following the steps that I put for myself. Yeah.
Right.
And be, how do you say, commitment to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The last question: what might keep you from accomplishing your goals?
Hmm. I think if I will not, um, following the steps, yeah, of what I have to do, like, for example, in a week, I have maybe on Monday something, Tuesday I follow the course all day, so I cannot do something. And then the other day I have, and I skip one, and I start to do that, then it will be discouraging. Yeah, because it's a lot, and if you don't do that, then it will be for the next time more, you know, and more. So it's I think if I do that, then it will discourage me, and that will be something that will stop me to achieve my goals. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. Uh, I'll still talk to you, but we're gonna meet again in 6 months for the second part, which will be halftime, like I gave the analogy, and then we'll see. You know, are there some adjustments? What you've learned, what you want to continue, maybe some different things that you might want to change, or things you might want to try, and just reassess how is it going, and the whole process, and just like a sports team, see, you know, if there's any halftime adjustments, or maybe you're winning the game by a mile, and racking up a high score. So
Well, if you say about in half in 6 months, it will be
yeah,
June.
June. Yes, it will be June.
Then it will be the end of my study.
Oh, that was perfect timing, because
Yeah,
now you're going into a next step, so that is very perfect timing. That's
I'm
really
at the
cool.
half of my halfway.
Exactly. And on my YouTube channel, I'm doing the same thing, and sharing and going through these three things. So the beginning, the middle, and the end, and I'm doing the same thing. So this, like I said before, this is a preview of the life coaching program that I'll be doing on Zoom. And what will be added is monthly. I'll be checking in and teaching some goal setting techniques, and there'll be a different lesson for every month, and that's the whole program.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you for your time. I'm definitely getting the festive mood, seeing the tree and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
and
Thank
maybe
you for
and,
asking me.
oh,
Thank you
thank
for
you for your
asking
time.
me. It's a privilege to be here with you.
You're welcome. See, 1 second.